Hey everyone, as veteran WoW players, we like to think that everyone knows about WoW already and nobody new is really starting the game nowadays, but that couldn't be further from the truth. There's a huge demographic of new players joining the game every day, but there's also a lot of players that return to WoW after a long hiatus from the game every day too, and you might be in one camp or the other yourself, especially when it comes to classic WoW and classic TBC, because they are, so to say, newer products that are completely different from the retail version of the game, and that a lot of players choose to try from time to time. So today, I'd like to make this video to help you guys out if you're a new or returning player to classic TBC. I got 25 tips for you here, so without wasting any more time, let's get into it. Alright, to start off, the first thing you're gonna be presented with as a new player is the server list. Unlike in Shadowlands or newer expansions, picking the right server is really important. So first off, whatever you do, always pick a server that says high or full on the population tab. And second, choose the right type of server for you, normal, PvP or RP. A normal server basically means that you cannot be attacked by players of the opposite faction, unless you intentionally turn on PvP or step in a zone of the opposite faction, like Stormwind if you're Horde or Orgrimmar if you're Alliance. A PvP server means that outside of your faction zones, you're prone to getting attacked by the opposite faction at any moment's notice. Choose this type if you like PvP a lot and you want to add a layer of danger to the game. And finally, RP servers are the same as normal servers, but with added role-playing rules and stricter character naming enforcement. Basically, servers to RP in. There's also an RP PvP server. If you already started leveling in a server and you didn't know about these server types and you want to change now, you can always buy a server transfer if you want, or wait for Blizzard to make them available for free for limited periods. Or obviously, you can make a new character altogether. Speaking of microtransactions, classic TBC introduced character boosts. If you want to skip leveling from 1 to 58, you can buy one character boost for one character only on your account. This will put you at level 58, ready to get into Outland, give you a full green set of gear, and a slow mount to ride with. I personally recommend not buying a boost right away. Get to level 10 first, have a feel for your class, make sure it's the class you want to spend the boost on, and then buy it if you want. Authenticators. Put one on your account as soon as possible. Not only is that gonna make your account more secure, but it's also going to give you 4 free bag slots, which is an incredibly useful thing to have early on, especially at lower levels. To put an authenticator on your account, go to your account settings, enable the feature, then download the app on your phone. Link it and you're set. There's a lot of settings in World of Warcraft, but I'm not gonna overwhelm you with all of them today. I'll only give you the most important ones that you should turn on or change from their default state. Auto loot, instant quest text, target of target, and max camera distance are all straightforward settings that you should always have on to save time and make your gameplay a little bit smoother. Once you start running out of real estate for putting your spells and items on your action bar, you can enable more action bars in the settings too. Another very important option to turn on, which isn't actually on the settings menu, is enemy nameplates. This will, for example, allow you to see enemies through walls if you're close enough, or target them more easily if there's a lot around you. The default key to enable this is V, so make sure it's turned on, and then also, very importantly, make sure the nameplate distance slider in the settings of the game is turned up all the way. That way you'll see nameplates from way further. Speaking of nameplates, if the nameplate of an enemy is gray, this means that the enemy has been attacked, or what is commonly called tagged, by another player which isn't in your group. So this means any items that the enemy drops will only be able to be looted by the player that tagged it. And this also means that any quest credit associated with that mob will also go to the player that tagged it. So you have no incentive to kill a mob that has a gray nameplate really, unless you want to help another player, I guess. By default, your portrait and the enemy's portrait are always at the top left of the screen. This isn't always the best place to have portraits though, especially with how big modern monitors are nowadays. So you can unlock your portrait and the enemy's portrait and move them somewhere closer to your action bars and in the middle of your screen. This will make it way easier on you to keep track on your health and your enemy's health. As you level up, you'll unlock new spells. To learn these new spells, you need to run to your class trainer. You unlock new spells only every other level, so level 10, 12, 14, etc. Just remember to always put newer ranks of spells on your bar as you learn them. For some classes, like warriors, this is done automatically, but for warlocks or paladins, for example, it's not. So always update your bars with the newer rank of the spell that you just learned. Similar to spells, you have weapon skills. Generally, at level 10, you'll have unlocked all weapon skills you can learn, but you still have to learn them manually by running to a weapon trainer. Those can be found in each capital city, and different weapon trainers train different weapon skills. You don't need to learn everything at once, as that can be costly early on, but when you get a new weapon type that's red, have a look on Wowhead, for example, to see if your class can learn that weapon skill, and from which city they can do so. If it can, go and learn it to be able to use that weapon. Speaking of Wowhead, Wowhead is a website that pretty much all WoW players know, but if you don't, this is the website to go to if you have any question regarding anything in the game. Where a certain item can be found, where a quest takes place, or even if you're looking for a guide for your class for leveling or at max level. So make sure to use Wowhead as much as you can. Speaking of leveling in Classic or TBC is very different from leveling in retail. Nothing is linear and you very much have to search for quests. For this reason, I suggest using a leveling guide add-on whenever you're leveling. The most popular one players use is Questy. This is very simple. It shows every quest around your level on the map and you can just pick them, do them, rinse and repeat. But there are some paid leveling add-ons with additional features out there, but they're not really necessary. Questy will do the trick. To stay on the topic of leveling, when leveling, always try to keep the mobs you're fighting or the quest you're doing at or around your level. Fighting too high level mobs or doing too high level quests can be very punishing because of how melee hit and spell hit works in this game. And on the other hand, fighting too low level mobs or quests is gonna give you too little XP. So try to avoid green or red mobs or quests and always aim for yellow. WoW has a lot of what we call slash commands, just like in any MMO actually. You do those by typing slash followed by the command of your choice in the chat. And there's a plethora of commands in the game, some more useful than others, but probably the most useful command in my opinion is the slash target command. With this, if you know the name of a mob, you can target it, given it's in your vicinity, even if you can't see it around. This saved me hours worth of hassle and I suggest you use it and abuse it as much as possible. Then, very much linked to commands are macros. You can access macros by typing the command /macro. And what a macro allows you to do is basically lets you run a bunch of commands at once by pressing that macro. For example, you can do a /target macro. That way, instead of copy-pasting the /target command every time, you can just press the macro you made and that will have the same effect. But macros have way more advanced uses than that, and you'll get more familiar with them as you become more familiar with the game. The moment you hit level 30 in TBC, make sure to go to your race's capital city and get your first mount. This mount will increase your running speed by 60%, and it is crucial to get as soon as possible to make your leveling go faster and run away from mobs more easily. Although, remember that you can only mount up when out of combat, and if you get hit from the back using a mount, you're very likely to get dismounted and dazed. So always face your enemy if you pull one by mistake or otherwise. Meaning stones in TBC can be found around all dungeon entrances and they can be used to summon other players to you. The only other way in the game to summon another player is to have a warlock that's level 20 or above in your group, which you're not always going to have. So make sure to use summoning stones to not only get your dungeon started quicker, but also to summon your friends across the map or get summoned yourself too. When you're done for the day with playing WoW, make sure to always log off in an inn if you can. Logging off in an inn is important because it fills up what's called rested XP. The longer you stay logged off in an inn, the more you build rested XP. And when killing enemies while rested, you'll receive twice the amount of XP you would normally get. So always log off in an inn when you're about to go off for the day. Also, logging off in inns is instant compared to having to wait 30 seconds, which is a plus. always try to keep your food and drinks up to date. In the game, there's new types of food and drinks at level 5, 15, 25, 35, etc. You get it, every 10 levels. So make sure to buy newer types of food and drinks as you reach these milestones. Also, remember you can both eat and drink at the same time to refill your health and mana at once if you're a mana using class. Professions. WoW offers two types of professions, primary and secondary professions. You can only learn 2 primary professions at once, but you can learn all secondary professions. But there's only 3 of those: fishing, cooking, and first aid. I don't recommend you bother leveling a profession as you're leveling, because that will only cost you a lot of gold and time generally, unless it's a gathering profession. But I do suggest grabbing first aid, as that's gonna give you a cheap way to heal yourself even in combat. Speaking of gold, try to avoid spending gold as much as possible while leveling. Obviously, you want to buy your new spells or weapon skills, but even then, try to only buy spells that are absolutely necessary to you. The reason for this is because you want to save for your mount skills at level 30, 60, and 70. Those are absolutely necessary to have as soon as possible, and you don't want to be out of gold once you hit these milestones, so save your gold as much as possible. Once you hit level 10, you'll unlock the talent tree. Talents are important both while leveling and at max level, so go on Wowhead, look for a leveling guide for your class, and follow the talent tree they present you with. You unlock 1 talent point every time you level, so make sure to spend it ASAP. Once you hit max level, make sure to buy flying as soon as possible. If you followed my previous tip, you should have more than enough gold to buy expert riding, which costs 1000 gold. And having a flying mount is not only useful to move around, but it's also necessary to unlock more content, like certain dungeons only accessible by flying. Also, remember that expert flying only goes at 60% speed, so unless there's an obstacle on the way, it's generally faster to use your ground mount, which goes at 100% speed. Also, once you hit max level, make sure to finish off all the quests that you haven't done in Outland. Questy should make it very obvious which ones you skipped. The reason for this is because you get an insane amount of gold from doing quests at max level, and you'll really need gold once you hit level 70, not only to buy epic flying, but also to buy gear pieces and level up your professions, which you should get started on, by the way. And finishing off the quests you haven't done is an easy way to give you a head start with gold. Your next goal once you're level 70 is to start chasing your pre-raid BIS gear. Pre-raid BIS, or pre-raid best in slot, is basically the items outside of raids that are the strongest for your character, so generally the easiest ones to obtain. So go on Wowhead, search for pre-raid BIS list for your class, and start doing the easiest things on the list, then move up until you have to do heroic dungeons, for example. Speaking of heroic dungeons, you have normal dungeons and you have heroic versions of these same dungeons. Those heroic dungeons will always be tuned for level 70 players and will have harder hitting mobs and bosses in sight. To unlock heroic dungeons, you first need to hit revered with the faction associated with that dungeon, but in the future this will be lowered to honored, which is way easier to reach. Once you're revered, you can buy a key from the quartermaster, and that will allow you to zone into the heroic version of the dungeons associated with that faction. At this point, you're no longer a beginner anymore in my opinion, and you're starting to step into endgame. So good luck on the rest, and we have a full playlist of tips and tricks videos like these for endgame on the channel, so make sure to check them out for the rest of your journey. With that, this marks the end of this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, remember to give it a like and subscribe to the Classic WoW Curios channel for more content like this. I will see you guys in the next one very soon. Bye for now.